You found the most in-depth coverage of the Silver and Black. The nation and the league arrive in Las Vegas in 2020. Live from the CBS Sports Radio 1140 studios, it's Silver and Black Today. Join the conversation by calling 702-889-5978. And now, here's your host, Scott Gobranson.
Good Sunday morning, Raider Nation. Welcome back to Las Vegas's only All Raiders sports talk show. That is Silver and Black Today here on CBS Sports Radio 1140 AM in the city of Las Vegas. A little bit of rainy Las Vegas, and all those party goers out at EDC, they are getting wet. They're having wind delays, and they're having felony arrests for drugs. So, hey, you know, it all goes with the territory, so that's just how it happens. But thanks, guys, for being here. And as always, I do not do this alone. I could turn down the sound on our video monitor so I'm not hearing myself. But I do not.
Can I turn down my sound so I don't hear you too?
Yeah, you could do that. That would be fine with me. But as always, we have our co-hosts here, including the smart ass who just talked about not listening to me, because that's what he does, because he's a realist. And that is Mr. Kelly Kreiner. Kelly, good morning.
Good morning.
I appreciate you being here. I know how difficult it is to get out of bed.
Yeah.
When you worked all night. Kelly was on stage at EDC last night. He had his set from 2 to 4 a.m.
A lot of people don't know this. Kelly is actually Marshmallow.
I've been called a marshmallow before. I'm not sure. I didn't realize they were comparing me to the DJ. Oh, okay, so it's a compliment.
You might as well. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's funny. He is. Yeah, he's Marshmallow. We don't without the helmet on. It's hard to see or kind of come to grips with that. But that's true. And if people don't know who the hell Marshmallow is, I don't blame you. At my age, I'm lucky I know who he is. The only reason I do is because I have kids. But anyway, we are back here to talk some Raider football and have a full show for you today. Only an hour again today. Dodger baseball starts. The Dodgers kick it off. Excuse me.
It's Chavez
first pitch at 9 a.m. No, it's 9. I think it's 9:30. But the Dodgers, if you're from Southern California, they will be on starting at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock. So we are 1 hour again today. We are 1 hour next week. And then our buddy Wally and Henderson will be okay, because we'll be back to 2 hours.
Yeah.
Wally is our super fan, and he was not happy with the 1 hour format. But Wally, we're right there with you. We listened. We're gonna be back to 2 hours on June 2nd. All right. So in this show, guys, today, just a quick rundown of the guests. At the quarter hour, we will have Dave Richard from CBS Fantasy Sports. Dave is the senior fantasy writer there. He's covered the NFL his entire career. He's going to help you win your league. And yes, you're saying, it's May. It doesn't matter. Fantasy football players, if you're real fantasy football player and you want to win money, you're starting already. Right, Kelly?
Oh, you've started already. I know a couple of people that have already had their rookie draft.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
They still have a separate rookie draft.
Yeah. Well, it's a dynasty league, so yeah, the rookies that come in every year. Oh, yeah, they have issues. Yeah, they got problems.
And one might be that they don't date very often. Anyway, so we will talk to Dave, and then at the bottom of the hour, former UNLV quarterback, and people are saying, UNLV quarterback? That's right. Kenny Mayne from ESPN will be with us. He also has a charity now, his own foundation called the Run Freely Foundation. Runfreely.org is the website if you want to see that in advance of us talking to him. And he's going to be on to talk about that charity. Of course, Jon Condo, the former long snapper of the Raiders, helping out with that, as we've seen over the last couple of weeks. So we're going to have Kenny on as well. And then we'll end the show, because we're only 1 hour, with Kelly's Corner. Who the hell knows what that's going to be about? About marshmallows, maybe.
How to make s'mores.
No marshmallows?
I mean,
roasting
I can,
versus raw.
I can go on a marshmallow rant if you want
I know
me
you
to.
can. That's why. I know you can. We'll get there. So that'll be the show today. But in the meantime, before we kick things off, the football season, college football season, Chaz, is 100 days away.
Whoa.
Which means the NFL season's not far behind.
Less than that now.
It's less than 100. It's like 96.
About 97.
96, 97. days away. So football is starting to, the summer, June and July seem so long to me from a football perspective. But with the excitement, and I said it last week, I think Raider fans, you should be excited. There's improvement. Things are going in the right direction. I think, as I said on our podcast, Kelly, on Wednesday, I think some fans, they're getting ahead of their skis a little bit and thinking this team's going to win 10 games with this brutal schedule. I don't see it. We're not at the point yet where I'm going to make a prediction on wins, but I was at the South Point the other night to see John Wick 3, which I think is the third best John Wick film, by the way. I took the under on 6.5. I did bet it on the Raiders, 6.5 wins. Now, before you all say, "Oh, you're a hater," no,
you're a hater.
It's called money. It's called betting, and you don't bet with what you think could happen or what you might. You bet with what the line is and the money and what's smart money. And to me, by the way, I did pick the winning horse in the Preakness yesterday. Thank you.
I had the one that lost the jockey. So
in
back-to-back weeks, I had a horse
Bodie.
that got DQ'd and a horse that lost its jockey.
Wow.
For the safety of every animal, I'm not betting the Belmont.
Stick to football. Do way better.
Well, so I took the under on 6.5 because of the schedule. Now, if the Raiders do better than 6.5 wins, great. It's great for everybody, including this show, because it seems like when things go well, which hasn't been a lot, hey, our numbers are out, everything's great. So I love that. I want them to win more games. It's good for Las Vegas. It's good for them moving to Las Vegas. At the same time, at 6.5, I just had to take the under.
I'm just wondering, did your $20 move the line?
It was not 20. It was 50.
They moved it down to 6.
Now my 15.
Did you have to hit the ATM machine for that?
I did, yeah. 5 kids, man. Money goes fast.
I know.
15.
No, you went to the movies. I'm figuring. Well, I'm figuring all the kids. I'm figuring all the kids probably weren't with. You didn't take all the kids, did you?
Well, I just took the youngest ones because John Wick was appropriate, for the youngest of the kids.
Okay.
At 7, you want to see people decapitated.
So it probably cost you $600 to go to the movies.
Yeah, about that. No, that would be a hockey game here in Las Vegas, not the movies. But yeah. So I did bet $20 on the race yesterday.
Got your money back.
It was 6-1. It was good.
Yeah.
But Bodie too. I did bet. That was my long shot bet, and of course they throw the horse. Yeah. Which amazing in 2 back-to-back races, those things have happened. It's just crazy. So what's going to happen in the third race? We'll see. But we have with the Raiders though. So much has been going on behind the scenes, and it is a slow period, but we still have lots to talk about. And during this show, we'll bring in guests during this time of the year that have I think a wider focus of the NFL and some other things that are happening. But there's going to be news. There's going to be things going on, and we want to do it. Of course, the construction, the stadium continues to jam. If you've seen the latest episode of From the Ground Up, which is the Raiders documentary series, very cool. And that's actually trailing behind where the stadium, so because they shoot it and they have to edit and they do a lot of work. So it's actually further along. But Chaz, you and our engineer David Stepanian were at the site for an event this week, which we're going to talk about on our next show, which is for Special Olympics. But you were at the site; it's jamming, right?
Yeah, no, they're definitely, that show is probably 2 or 3 weeks behind, right? Because it's built up all the way around. But what an uplifting scene! Watching a couple dozen law enforcement running hand in hand with a couple of dozen Special Olympians. I mean, literally hand in hand. Each one of them had a hand on the torch while they were running up the road, and. Big shout out to Terrence Thornton, the executive director of the Special Olympics Nevada, and of course the Southern Nevada law enforcement for their continuing support of the Special Olympics, and the Raiders for lending a hand and continuing to do great work in the community. They just had a little pit stop there. They started at the Hoover Dam, I think, with the Henderson Police, and then they did a pit stop, little rehydration at the Raiders Stadium, and then they went all the way up the Strip with the Metro Police. And then through downtown, and then on to Nellis Air Force Base with the North Las Vegas Police Department. So just one of those great uplifting.
While they were hydrating too, I saw pictures of you with a martini glass. What was going on with that?
I mean, it's Vegas. There's.
You just got out of a Tijuana jail.
It wasn't Tijuana.
That's why you.
It was
Cabo.
It was Oakland.
We tried to tell everybody you were on assignment, but the criminal justice system in Mexico works so slowly.
Who knew Jim Plunkett had a restraining order? I was just trying to give him the cookies I baked for him.
Cookies. Yeah, don't give any current players cookies because then whatever they have.
300 feet can't stop your fandom.
No.
Sheesh. I didn't know he was serious about it.
Oh, no, but a great event. And then I was by yesterday, for those of you not in Las Vegas, where the Raiders are building their new headquarters in Henderson. Happens to be right next to the Costco. And
I was going to say, did you go to Costco?
You love that Costco.
And as a married guy with 5 kids, Costco on Fridays is like a tradition. Like we go, because it's not crowded. If you go Friday between like 5 and 6, there's nobody there.
Are they giving away the free food at that time?
They do. Okay, they do. So my wife and I just jam in there, get everything done, boom, 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 and we're out. And we can pick up pizza for the kids because they like the pizza. So, but seeing the headquarters, they're starting to really build out that building, including the big indoor field. Like, so you can see it looks like an airplane hangar they're building out there. But all the progress just shows how exciting and close we're getting to the Raiders actually being here in Las Vegas. And, you know, the Las Vegas Raiders, I'm assuming after week 8, we'll start to hear it a little more, even on national TV. We'll see how that all goes. But it's the inevitability of it all, and it's coming through this. So, guys, we're going to talk fantasy football. So get ready to talk fantasy football.
Kelly's always ready.
Not a fantasy football guy, Chaz?
No, but I'm going to start.
Oh, okay.
So I'm very interested.
He's willing to start.
Yep.
It's like Stripes. Are you?
I'm ready to start this year.
Are either one of you? Yeah. So anyway, we're going to step aside and pay some bills here in a few seconds. When we come back, Dave Richard from CBS Fantasy Sports will be with us. He's going to tell you how to win your league. Also, he's going to tell us what rookie Raiders are worth drafting. So what guys do you want to be interested in? You're listening to Silver and Black today here on CBS Sports Radio 1140. Don't go anywhere.
You found the most in-depth coverage of the Silver and Black. This is Silver and Black Today, live on CBS Sports Radio 1140. Here's your host, Scott Gobranson.
Welcome back, Las Vegas. Welcome back, the world, on the stream on radio.com. And if you're watching on YouTube, we apologize already for Kelly. No, just kidding. Marshmallow. That's right. All right. Well, we are. It's never too early, folks, to talk fantasy football. That's right. If you really want to be competitive and you want to win your league, there are some people out there that you need to listen to. And our next guest is one of those guys, and that, of course, is Dave Richard from CBS Fantasy Sports, CBS Sports, and he joins us now on the phone. Dave, thanks for being with us here on the Silver and Black today.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Las Vegas. It is hotter here in Florida than it is in southern Nevada. It is surprising to me. When's it going to warm up there already?
You know, it's been strange, Dave. Everything's been delayed this year. So our winter was very mild, and then all of a sudden in February we got snow, right? When the weather usually starts to turn. And then it heated up a little bit, and now the last week it's been like in the 70s. Today I woke up, I went outside early this morning, and we had a little drizzle. But now it's starting to clear up. It's just one of those weird weather years here in Las Vegas. But thank you for taking the heat for us, because we're going to get plenty of it here in the next few months.
My wife is counting on it when she comes out there.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Hopefully that'll be. Yeah, she's a suntanner. I'm like the exact opposite.
Yeah. I'm a skin cancer survivor, so yeah, I stay as white as I can be, which embarrasses my kids sometimes. But let's get on to fantasy football here, your specialty, of course. And as you always say, and as your bio says up on the CBS Sports website, which is your goal is to help people win their league. Now, our audience, obviously Raider fans, and they are paying attention to the Raiders, but they're also fantasy football players. They want to have an edge on everybody else in their league. When you look at the Raiders and what they did in the draft, especially at the top of the draft with Josh Jacobs, an offensive player there as well, what do you say to folks? Is there value in any of the Raider rookies from a fantasy perspective?
Well, I mean, you start with Josh Jacobs, and you certainly can imagine just how big of a role he will have. You know, I knew I was going to come on with you guys today, and I got thinking to kind of a flashback for me. A long time ago, I used to work on NFL.com, and one of the jobs that I had was to talk to rookie prospects and kind of do a running diary of what it was like to go through the draft hall with them. And one of them was Cadillac Williams. And Cadillac Williams told me that John Gruden handpicked him to be his lead back when he took him back when he was with Tampa Bay. And I believe the same thing happened with Jacobs, that Jacobs was told by Gruden, hey, if you're there when I pick, you're going to be my guy. And if he's going to use him like he used Cadillac Williams, then we're looking at a lot of usage for this rookie. I think he's got a shot at 1,300 total yards. I think he could get 7-8 touchdowns, be a good fantasy running back, and you're going to be able to find him late round 3 in non-PPR, maybe even early round 4 in full PPR. He's a real talented kid, not a lot of experience, but running back is the one position where you don't need a lot of experience. You just need to be healthy and ready to go, and Jacobs is definitely going to be ready to go. A lot of eyeballs are going to be on him, and he's got the most upside of any rookie in this draft class.
Wow.
Raiders, any team, period. He's got the most upside, except for Kyler Murray.
Ah, for Kyler Murray. Interesting.
I had to throw that in there at the end. I got it. Kyler Murray has like top 5 quarterback upside.
Yeah, and we were talking to Jay Schrader, former Raider and Redskin quarterback, at an event here in Las Vegas last week, and we asked him about Kyler Murray, and he said, you know what, he feels much better about him because of where he went, because of Kingsbury's system and what he's doing there. That's the one place he would go in that system where he was going to be able to succeed and shine early from an early point of view.
Yeah, Jay's exactly right, because it's the exact same scheme that he had in college. It's with a coach in Cliff Kingsbury that he's known since he was a sophomore in high school. Did you guys know that? It's been 7 years that Cliff Kingsbury has been recruiting Kyler Murray, and now he's got him. The receiving core, it's young outside of Larry Fitzgerald, but a couple of the guys are receivers that Kyler Murray has thrown to before. Christian Kirk, Ricky Seals-Jones, you guys know them from fantasy 2018, maybe even 2017 in the case of Ricky Seals-Jones. But a long time ago, they were all on the same Texas A&M team, so they know each other already. That familiarity will lead to a much less of a learning curve for Kyler Murray. And I think you'll see Murray actually put up some really nice numbers. Everybody's going to wait on quarterback this year, okay, because it's such a deep position. There are so many good ones. You could literally wait till the double-digit rounds to take one. You'll go and get Josh Jacobs first. But one idea that we've been bandying about at CBS is take Kyler Murray in like round 10. He'll be there. Get him. And then after that, there's going to be another quarterback that you've heard of that you know is going to do well. Phillip Rivers will be there. Ben Roethlisberger will be there. If you're playing with smart fantasy people, then Tom Brady will be there. You just pair Kyler Murray with another veteran quarterback. You start the veteran quarterback in week 1, and you see what happens with Kyler Murray. The risk is so low because you're using 2 picks in round 10 and round bazillion to get your quarterback taken care of. The only downside to it, if there really is a downside, I don't think there is that you've got to fill a second roster spot with a quarterback. Some people don't like to do it, but I think it's worth it to take the chance on Kyler Murray with the Cardinals.
Hey, Dave, it's Kelly Croner here. Speaking of quarterbacks, I am a big proponent of Matt Ryan this year, just because when you look at his schedule, obviously he plays better in the dome, but they really don't have any bad weather games this year. So they got 2 linemen going to help him, give him time. Am I crazy to think that Matt Ryan's got that not so much top 5 quarterback, but in that kind of 5 to 8 range that you're going to be able to get in like the 10th or 12th round?
I think you're crazy for not considering him a top 5 quarterback. They've got 13 dome games, and I don't think they play outdoors until like November. So it is insane, the schedule that they have. And Calvin Ridley last year played so much better on turf than he did on grass. You know Julio Jones. You can put Julio Jones on gravel. He's going to be outstanding. It doesn't matter. Matt Ryan has an improved offensive line. I don't think the defense in Atlanta is going to be much better than it's been. I kind of feel like Dan Quinn, their head coach, is on the hot seat, and they didn't do quite enough to really address that defense. So they're going to have Matt Ryan throw a lot this year. I still have questions about Devontae Freeman, how effective he'll be. Ito Smith is his backup. How effective will he be? So that run game, huge question mark. And I think Matt Ryan's got a chance to improve on the numbers he had last year. He finishes the number 2 fantasy quarterback, and he would have been number 1 if not for Patrick Mahomes having 50 touchdowns and over 5,000 yards. I think he's got top 5 potential. I really do. And the best part about it, again, you're going to wait on quarterbacks. It's going to take a while before you actually get one. I've been getting Matt Ryan round 7, round 8 in drafts. And if I do that, then I'm pretty much out of the Kyler Murray business unless he's there in round 12. And, I'm just having fun with my draft at that point. I'm going to speculate on him. But if I'm drafting Matt Ryan, I'm usually planning on only having one quarterback. He'll be it. And I'm expecting good numbers from him again. One last point on Matt Ryan. He's getting his old offensive coordinator back. Dirk Cousins, former coach of the Bucs, used to call the plays for Atlanta. So there isn't going to be much of a change in playbook. Matt Ryan's going to understand everything that Cutter's asking. And Cutter is an aggressive play caller. He will put the ball in the air a lot. Look for those two receivers. I actually did a mock draft. You can find it on CBS Sports. I've got Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, and Austin Hooper all on my team. It might be a little overkill, and when the Falcons are on bye, I'm probably going to lose, but I agree with you, Kelly. I think that the Falcons' offense is going to be a juggernaut this year.
It's good to hear somebody finally agree with Kelly. But Dave, again, we're speaking to Dave Richard, senior fantasy writer with CBS Sports. And Dave, with a couple minutes we have left, looking at this rookie class, we talked about Kyler Murray. Obviously, you have to. When you're looking at this rookie class, is there anybody else? Is there anybody who players out there, fantasy owners, are going to want to look at early in the draft and maybe start to pencil in if they haven't already had the rookie draft? Kelly's Friends League or your league already had it.
Oh, no, a friend of mine, yeah. They already had the rookie draft.
They already had the rookie draft. But if you haven't had your rookie draft or if you just do it all as one, what one or two rookies would you put at the top of your draft board?
Well, after Josh Jacobs, I think David Montgomery with the Bears is a good second rookie running back. You'll take him maybe a round later than Jacobs. And it could be as much as a three-headed monster in Chicago, but he's the best one of the bunch. He's a good volume back. The more touches he gets, the better he is. And he's the most physical running back that Chicago's going to have, so he should lead their team in rushing touchdowns, should lead their team in touchdowns total. So I like him a lot. Miles Sanders is also going to be a popular rookie with Philadelphia. He's going to begin the year splitting time with Jordan Howard. I would imagine by week 8 or week 9, he'll be the lead guy, and Jordan Howard will be, 5 to 10 touches a game. Philadelphia's future is with him. And there's a receiver that I really like, and it's in Indianapolis, Paris Campbell. Anybody who's catching passes from Andrew Luck and playing a lot, I'm going to be a fan of. But in this case, Frank Reich and the coaching staff there went nuts when they got Paris Campbell. They were talking about how unfair their offense is going to be. And it will be a very multiple offense. They're going to do some crazy stuff. But I think this is an underrated receiver who played out of the slot at Ohio State. He's got great speed. I think he can improve his route running. He's got great hands, and he's going to be a player. So I like him a lot.
All right. Dave Richard from CBS Fantasy Sports. And, Dave, we're going to have you on during the summer for a little more in-depth look at some of the things. But check out Dave at Dave Richard on Twitter and, of course, on CBSSports.com on CBS Fantasy. Dave, thanks for being with us today.
You got it, gentlemen. Enjoy your Sunday.
All right. You too, my friend. Thanks again for being with us. All right. We're going to step aside. When we come back, Kenny Mayne will talk to us about runfreely.org. You're listening to Silver and Black today here on CBS Sports Radio 1140.
Hey, this is Tim Brown, Hall of Famer. You're listening to Silver and Black today.
All right. Tim Brown brings us back in from the break. Thanks for being with us on this now it's windy Sunday morning in Las Vegas. That's the extent of our weather usually here, as you guys know. And someone intimately familiar with the weather here in Las Vegas is our next guest. That's because as a former UNLV quarterback and a frequent visitor and one of the funniest men, I think, walking the planet and one of the best broadcasters out there, that is Mr. Kenny Mayne, who joins us this morning. Kenny, how you doing?
Everything's good. I was struggling to find coffee, believe it or not, in Seattle.
No way.
I wanted to be a little more alert for this whole, but I finally found a place. I can't go to Starbucks because that guy sold our basketball team and they took them elsewhere, which it's similar but different than what's going on with the Raiders, right? Same ownership but moving away. But no, I'm well. Just got off a week of crazy work week, and I got a little time with my daughter, and no complaints.
That's awesome. We appreciate you spending the time with us today. Well, we want to jump in, first of all, and talk about some amazing work that you've started just recently, really in the last 9 or 10 months. But the story with this, Kenny, really starts on October 25th, 1980. Tell people, as a backup quarterback for UNLV back in the day, what happened on that day and how it's taken you forward to what you're doing now with Run Freely.
Let's see. That was it was 1980 at Oregon. I was behind a guy named Larry Gentry, a little Larry, and Dana. And then the next time, my senior, Sam King, who led the nation in passing yards, so I wasn't behind horrible people. So when you qualify it back up, it kind of hurts my pride. But no, I played some talented players and a whole bunch of other good players on our team. But we were at Oregon. We were getting murdered. It was like, I don't even know what the score was, 33-9 or something. And so I was in at the end, and literally the last play of the game, threw a horrible pass, slipped out of my hand in the rain, and a guy stuck his helmet on my ankle. And I had what was called a fracture dislocation. That means that you break the bone and tear all the ligaments. And when you're that young, though, you're like, what the heck? I started running, 5 months later or whatever. So wow. I played the next year, too. That's how dumb I was. But, through the years, it just got worse and worse, and more bone spur surgeries and pins out and pins in. And finally, as you get older, it starts, really tightening up. So I got in a really bad place with it, about, 7 years ago maybe it was, and even considered taking the thing off. It was that kind of pain, everyday kind of pain. And instead I got really good advice and started getting better therapy for it and found one brace. And then more recently I found this amazing brace. It's called an ExoSim. And I was lucky. It was somebody my sister knew down in Gig Harbor, Washington, which is kind of south and west of Tacoma, if you know the area.
Mm-hmm.
And he's making these for veterans. And so I went and got one. And it changed my life in a second. The moment I put it on, I felt like a different person. It doesn't fix anything. It just lets you do stuff you can't do without it. It displaces the pressure and alleviates the pain so you can still hike or run. Or in my case, I still like playing flag football. I play with some veterans a few times a year and, want to go out and golf with it and not have pain walking around. And there's a million uses for it. Some people need it every day just to get out. I don't as much. I just need it more for athletic things.
Yeah, and you can still fling the ball, which is good to watch you throw on the field out there. But I mean, you at this point too, reading the story about how you got to the point where you started Run Freely, there was at a time you were thinking about amputation actually because you had been so much pain that was one of the options, correct?
Yeah, sadly enough. I think I was serious about it. I walked down the hall and went and had the meeting. I met with 3 doctors the same week. One was to replace it, and then one was to fuse it, which is where they kind of lock the joint down, and the other one was to cut it off. And I ended up doing none of the 3. I ended up just kind of living with it and getting better therapy. I met this chiropractor up here in Kirkland, Washington, who's unbelievable. He kind of changed my life, too, because he brought it back from where it was and woke it up and let me walk with a little less pain and use it in a better way. And then I was led to one brace maker. His was pretty good, but I feel like his was the station wagon, and now I kind of have the Ferrari. So I stick this thing on. And literally, I ran the first day on the treadmill. I put it on and had no fear, no pain. It's pretty incredible. And it's kind of like one of those commercials when you fall asleep on the couch at 4 a.m. and you're just watching somebody tell you some miracle juice or whatever. But this is real. And again, I'm, so people know I'm not like an investor. I'm not, selling this. I'm not making money. Although I should contemplate doing all that. But no, we're trying to raise money to give them away. And so far in about 9 months, I think it is, we're up to number 10. So that's not a ton of people, but it's more than one, right? So our opening kickoff event is called Run Freely. So the website is runfreely.org. Our opening kickoff event, I just basically called a bunch of old friends. We had Steve Largent, Jerry Rice, Gary Payton, Jamal Crawford, Lenny Wilkins even stopped by. It's funny me just saying that, those are all people I, through the years doing all this, that I've done. And when I tried out for the Seahawks, I actually threw to Steve Largent. He claims to remember the day. I don't know if he does or doesn't. What happened was Sam King, who I mentioned earlier, had a chance to go there, but he ended up picking a different route. And my coach, Tony Knapp, said, hey, if you like Sam, you must look at the other guy. So I got to go throw for them, and I ended up signing, but I failed the physical on the first day. So that was pretty much the end of that. Well, but I started doing some other work at that point.
Yeah, again, we're talking to Kenny Mayne, of course, from ESPN, and we're talking to him about his runfreely.org, his charitable foundation, which is doing amazing things. And Kenny, let's talk about, because you have done so much, and I know how much it means to you to work with veterans. 1 in 14 veterans can't afford $10,000 that it would take to get this Exosys, which you are using and talking about. So to be able to get these folks together and to help to get those people that you've met in your career in sports, including Jon Condo, that's the Raider connection here. Jon Condo reached out to you, wanted to help out as well. Talk about the reception from all of those people and what they're doing now to help you raise this issue and raise money, because you're right, it's just 10 people so far, but as we know, Kenny, to change the world, you got to start one person at a time.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know how to view that. Is that a really good number or is that a bad number? So I think it's good because they are expensive, and the word isn't out very well about what we're doing. People hear it and they think it's a fun run this Sunday or something. I don't know what the hell run through is, but so it's taken a while to explain it, and I'm still working a full-time job and flying all over the country. I'm kind of doing it as I can. So we have no building, we have no organization. We just filled out some paperwork and gave a lawyer a bunch of money to start a 501c3. That's pretty much what we are so far. But again, it's only the first months of doing this. Every time I tell the story to somebody, people most often come away wanting to help in some way. So the girl that kind of has set all this up for me, named Mara, knew Jon Condo, says, "Oh, you got to meet this guy. You'll love him. 1, you'll get along, and 2, he's very interested in veterans affairs." So we started texting each other, and he says, "I'm going to figure out something to help you with. I don't know what it is, but it should be something." And he just kind of surprised me with, "Hey, I think I got a pretty cool thing. How would you like 2 tickets to a Raider game with field passes, club seats? Just there'll be hardcore Raider fans that'll be into that, and we can figure out a way to auction it off." So that's what we did. So that's kind of how we got introduced to each other, and we just found a winner last week, so I raised a couple thousand doing that.
Awesome.
We're just kind of doing it piece by piece by piece. Like Steve Kerr, the Warriors coach, last fall gave me a couple tickets to the game up in Seattle. He met and had lunch with the winner. Sue Bird did a similar thing. We haven't paid off her prize yet. We're just kind of going one by one. Who's available? The Seahawks helped out. I'm forgetting the list is pretty long, actually, of people that have donated different things or helped us raise money in certain ways.
Yeah, you have
a few things around.
You have, of course, the glove, Gary Payton. You have Steve Kerr, as you mentioned, Dale Earnhardt Jr. As well. Just, I mean, you guys have had a lot of folks do things and help you out.
I don't mean to interrupt, but Earnhardt I should have thought of immediately because his is still active. So if you go to our website, which is runfreely.org, right away as you scroll down and kind of read the story about it, there's a piece with Dale Earnhardt's picture, and you can see how you enter that one. So hopefully people will get interested in that. If you end up getting that one, you fly to North Carolina, and Dale Earnhardt will be your driver for a day. So
that's amazing.
He'll tour you around Charlotte. But yeah, we're always thinking and kind of daydreaming, like, what would be another good event? I have a bunch of comedian friends. We're talking about throwing an event in New York City, just comics night for the veterans, and charge, double the normal fee and put some money toward this. So one by one, dollar by dollar, and we try to make sure people know, $5 sent in is as valuable as 10,000, because if you have only 5 to give, that probably meant as much as the guy that can give 10 grand. We just got a check for 20 grand like a week ago. That was our biggest.
Wow!
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere. Somebody heard about it and said, "I'm going to help out." So
that's awesome.
Sometimes it has to be by offering a prize, and other times people just are like, "What the heck? Why wouldn't I want a veteran to work pain-free?"
Yeah, and we're gonna make sure that we put up on our video and also with our audio on our website. We will put a link to your website, runfreely.org, and make sure people know about it for sure and get there and donate. I mean, absolutely, it's a phenomenal thing to help our veterans and get them out of pain. Kelly, you had something?
No, yeah, I just wanted to tell Kenny that as growing up as a huge Ken Griffey Jr. fan, it's never iffy if it's Griffey was criminally underutilized. That should have been used way more often.
You know what's funny about that? That's one I wouldn't take credit for, although I was in the commercial where we did that. And there was another one I liked less. I can't remember what it was now. But there was one where I kind of made fun of as we did the commercial. Yeah, it's too late now. He's not swinging anymore. My favorite for him was simply, I am amused by the simplicity of this game.
Kenny Mayne, of course, of ESPN and runfreely.org. Make sure you go over and check out the work he's doing there. And, of course, as a UNLV alum and former UNLV quarterback, special place in our hearts. And we can't wait to see you, Kenny. We got a year, and then you'll be out here checking out the new stadium, and hopefully you'll be there for the opening day for UNLV football and for the Raiders.
Well, I was supposed to be there for the groundbreaking, and they wouldn't let me out of work. I was dying to get out there. It would have been fun, but I see progress. So, yeah.
Yes.
And also, now ESPN has a Las Vegas connection coming up here even deeper than everything you described. So, yeah, I'll find a bunch of reasons to try to get out there.
Yeah, I think the new studio at Caesars should be the Kenny Mayne Studios at Caesars.
Yes.
Kenny,
I'm sure I'll talk them into something. Right now they're going to be doing sports centers, but hopefully we get to keep on doing other fun things out in the field.
Awesome. Kenny Mayne, thank you again for joining us and spending the time on your Sunday. We really appreciate it.
All right, be well. Thanks for putting out the word.
All right,
Thanks,
you take care now.
Thanks,
all
Kenny.
right, Kenny Mayne here on Silver and Black Today. We'll be back right after this.
This is Silver and Black Today, live on CBS Sports Radio 1140.
Indeed it is. We're on the home stretch. Only an hour today. We have Dodger baseball. Dodger baseball. I got to put on my best radio voice. I can't do Vince Scully, but I will try to do something. Concocted. Flabbergasted. Sorry. Okay.
Can you say that on the air?
We are back here on Silver and Black Today on CBS Sports Radio. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to Kenny Mayne and Dave Richard, our guests today. This part of the show is usually Kelly's Corner, and it is today. So we're going to let Kelly go. And with all the horse racing stuff we talked about with the controversies and all this thing, it brought up instant replay, which, of course, because Kelly lives, breathes, eats, sleeps, and other things, football, it came back to football. So, Kelly, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, and it wasn't even just the Kentucky Derby. It was also in the hockey with the Golden Knights against San Jose, and then the other night with the hand pass in the San Jose. And I want to start this off by saying the Saints was one of the worst calls that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I won money on that game. Okay. The San Jose Sharks against the Knights was a completely terrible call that could have been fixed in 2 seconds. I won money on that game. Okay. The Derby, I had the trifecta for about 24 minutes.
Yep.
That one cost me money. I don't care about any of that. I want the call right, because that's the most important thing to me. Winning money, losing money, that stuff doesn't really matter. I just want to see the play made correctly. We saw this. The Saints call could have been fixed in 2 minutes. The second you go to instant replay, everybody can see right off the bat, oh, well, that's an easy call.
Yeah.
The Sharks call against the Knights, you can see that's a simple, okay, give him the 2-minute minor, whatever. It's 3-1 after that's over, and the Golden Knights may still be playing hockey right now.
Yep.
Everybody talks about how, it's going to slow down the game. Once you're there for 2 or 3 hours, once or twice a game, an extra 3 minutes isn't going to make that big of a difference in your day, but it can make a complete difference in a season. And
Absolutely.
We've seen it way too many times.
No doubt. And Chaz, I'll ask you this question too, and I agree with you, Kelly. I think the bottom line is you get it right. If it takes extra time, so be it. If you, as a fan, cannot be patient enough to wait for the officials to get it right, then don't watch. I mean, am I wrong, Chaz?
No, you're right. They do need to get it right. It does take a lot of time, though. There's these guys. We saw the Rams live. I mean, it was obvious that we didn't have to see a replay. We knew what it was right off the bat. They should have been able to go right to the replay. There should be somebody watching it already when they call it, which they used to do in the NBA before they went to replay. That you'd see the officials and they'd kind of huddle up and they'd be talking, was his foot behind the 3-point line? But actually what they were doing was waiting for the guy watching the monitor to give him the thumbs up or not. So they were actually doing it before it was actually a thing. And so now they do it, but it takes so much longer. I don't know why.
And that was going to be my point. We're getting TV reviews in so much faster.
Instant.
And they'll flat out tell you, well, the instant replay guy doesn't have all the TV review angles that we have. Well, turn on a damn TV.
Yeah.
You're going to be in a studio.
Right.
This isn't complicated. You should have every angle that we have as someone watching the game in an office.
Yeah, the NFL's a little bit behind.
Have someone sitting there just watching the damn game.
The NBA does. They have the main office in Secaucus, and they watch every game. And whenever there's something, they've already got. Can I say that on there? And so they've already got somebody watching the replay before the officials go to it. So when they put the headphones on, they're already telling them, all right, this is actually what happened. You just look at it for a second.
The AAF had this. And I have more money in my pocket than that whole league had. You can't tell me this is a financial issue or anything like that.
No.
The NFL's just stuck. They got their head in the sand. Fix your sport. Yep. It's an easy fix. Make it right.
And there's ways to stream with the technology the way it is with video. And we saw it with it. The one thing I think that will live on, I hope, now the NFL didn't do it for this year, but maybe for the following year, the AAF with that replay, hearing what they're talking about, the transparency. We live in an era where transparency in corporate America is a huge deal. So why isn't the NFL doing it? They need to do it because then as a fan, you can't get mad if you hear the reasoning, or you can still be mad if they make the call.
Well, yeah,
but at least you have insight.
People are going to be mad no matter what, but at least you, like you said, you have insight. You know what's going on. And I heard people like, "Oh, you can't review pass interference." They've been doing it in Canada for years.
Yes.
Are you telling me the Canadian Football League is more advanced than the NFL?
Apparently, So
it's a boot time. You get this in the NFL.
Hockey.
We just lost all our Saskatchewan listeners.
We did. I'm sorry. They're Rough Riders anyway. But anyway, so we are at the end of our show. Again, we are ahead of Dodger baseball, so we're only an hour. And then next week will be an hour because of the holiday weekend. And then we're back to 2 hours. So for those of you out there who were not a fan of our shorter show.
Remember, you asked for this.
Chaz will be reading War and Peace. Right?
The Cliff Notes.
The one-sheet version. Anyway,
we want to get Cliff Notes. Like you go to a bookstore and still buy them.
But they have them online now too.
Oh, yeah.
For Kelly Kreiner, for Chaz Osborne.
Yeah. Showing my age there, Jesus, bookstore.
I am Scott Goretz, you have been listening, of course, to the Silver and Black Today here on CBS Sports Radio in Las Vegas. We'll be back with you next week, same bat channel, same bat time. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Take care, Raider Nation. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.